This is Tyler Kurtz with Stormchasers. Tristan Shea will be giving his presentation momentarily, showing how we use long-range models such as the GFS to forecast storms about a week out. First, I will be showing how we utilize the Storm Prediction Center to see where severe storms and weather may be located in the long range, typically 4 to 8 days out. The Storm Prediction Center, SPC, highlights more detailed areas that may be affected by weather 1 to 3 days out. In the current day, next day forecast, if there are any potential weather risk, there will be a categorical risk, tornado, wind, and hail risk areas. We will focus more in depth on these in a later video. What we are focusing on in this video is the long range, 4 to 8 days out. As said previously, the SPC highlights areas that may be affected by severe weather 4 to 8 days out. They are categorized by either potential too low, predictability too low, or either a 15 or 30% area. They then have a detailed discussion of what is expected in the coming days. Today is October 6th, 2021, and we currently have some severe weather potential coming up within the next week on Sunday, day 5, and Tuesday, day 7, and potentially even Monday and Wednesday. When the SPC highlights areas such as Sunday and Tuesday, we then start looking into the long-range models.
Hey guys, it's Tristan here with Stormchasers, and today we are forecasting kind of long range. We're looking at 5 to 7 days out, and I want to start by showing you the GFS model, the 18Z run on October 6th. So this will be about 7 days out we're looking at mainly, especially next Sunday and Tuesday. So first we'll look at the 500 millibar height. And what you're really looking for is these big troughs that come through and break down the subtropical ridge. So this is Sundays, and as you can see, we have this down here. That's the subtropical ridge. And this comes in, and it starts breaking it down. So it starts out as a positively tilted trough, and you can see it go left to right, kind of oriented this way. But as you go further into the forecast, you can see it starts taking a more up and downward approach. The favorable conditions for severe weather are going to be these neutral and negatively tilted troughs. So the closer you get, it starts leaning a little more towards the negative, which is probably the best you can get. And now we're going to look at Tuesday's setup, which looks more pronounced. So we're going to go a few hours, and you can see all this on the backside just ready to go. And keep going, and you can see it has a neutral tilt right here. And you keep going, and then it just barrels out like a bowling ball. It is now negatively tilted. You got all this flow on the east and bottom side of it. So 18,000 feet in the atmosphere, you're going to have all these winds ripping southwest to northeast, and this is looking prime for tornadoes currently. So now we'll move on to the moisture. So on the moisture, you have these dew points, and as a bare minimum, you're probably going to want like a 60-degree dew point like this and what's in the Dixie Alley here. So let's go on and look. And as this trough moves through, you're going to be able to see all the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico go north, like there. So here is Sunday, and you have this stout elevated mixed layer coming right in right here, meeting up with this warm, moist air here. And this is going to cause lift. It's going to cause these storms to go crazy. Generally 60, you're probably going to want a little higher, but we can go ahead and look at a sounding from there. And because of the dry air aloft, it's not looking exactly prime. But if one can go, we do have the shear to be able to create tornadoes and large hail and all that. So now we'll go on to Tuesday. All that moves out with the dry line. And look at all that moisture. That's a lot. And you can see this dry line extend all the way from central Nebraska all the way down to Texas. That is absurd. This is like a springtime setup here. And the dews are a lot higher. Now let's just go ahead and click on sounding pretty close to home. And yeah, we got tornado soundings and 2000 Cape, which is a lot more, and this beautiful rounded sounding. And now we're going to talk about Cape. This is fuel for storms. This is how much energy is in the atmosphere to create these tall, powerful thunderstorms. So we're going to start and looking at Sunday first. And you can see the Cape feeding in from the Gulf of Mexico. And there's not a lot, and there's that dry layer of air in the atmosphere that day. So it's not looking great. Like 1,124 is not bad, but generally you want a lot better for active storm development. So we'll go ahead and click on this sounding real quick. And it is showing a marginal tornado with a negative 160 sin, which is going to be your cap, the dry air loft. And Tuesday. And you can see there's a lot more cape in place. We're looking at over 2,000 cape, which is plenty enough to fuel thunderstorms. And we'll click on here. And yeah, it's showing tornadoes, and there's hardly a cap at all, if any, and 2,500 cape. Tuesday looks like a big day, so we're going to keep an eye out for you guys. All right, and now we're going to talk about the low-level jet, which is the 925 millibar height. This is just the winds just above the ground. This is what drives these storms to really start rotating. So we're going to go ahead and we'll look at Sunday first, and Sunday is right here. And relatively, when you're looking at a low-level jet, you're going to want south to north orientated winds or southeast to northwest orientated winds. So Sunday we have generally a good south to north orientation, and the more southeast these winds get, the more is what we call backed. So this is 42, 43 knots approaching 45. That's pretty good. And now we'll look at Tuesday. And this is Tuesday, and it just looks crazy. You got all these. It's out of the southeast now, and it's higher. It's approaching 50 knots, and there's more moisture, more dew in place, and it looks prime and ready to go. Everything we just looked at is what we're going to be looking for when it comes to severe weather. Now, I will say this is a long-term outlook. This is about a week out, so there's a lot that can change. So once the time comes to 2 or 3 days out, we'll know more precise details of what's going to go down as these closer models such as the NAM and the HRRR come out. Those are going to be more accurate.